Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Mr. Tie-Dye, and today we're going to do a little inspiration I had. So today somebody asked me, or yesterday somebody asked me on Instagram a question about combining the ribbon, the breast cancer ribbon, with the spider design. And I had this inspiration flash just come to me, and I described to him how to do it. So he might be doing one, but since I had that inspiration, I decided I wanted to make a little video of that. So that's what we're here to do today. So what I'm starting with is a black t-shirt, cotton black. This one's a Port & Company, and it's 100% cotton, been pre-washed, and it's just barely damp right now because that's my preferred folding method. And I got myself a little stencil here that I made out of a pop box. And then I put tape over it so that it would last longer. Anyways, and then since I'm using a black tee, I can't use my washable markers like I normally would. I mean, I could probably see the marks. Yeah, I can kind of see them on there, but you guys won't be able to see them. So what I have here is a washable crayon, or not washable crayon, a dry erase crayon. So Crayola makes those, and I've had really good luck being able to draw on the t-shirt and then having that just wash right out. So it is a little bit difficult to draw compared to a marker though, so you have to kind of color with it like a crayon, and you're coloring on fabric. So that tells you what that's going to be like. Anyways, I'm going to go into fast forward mode while I draw this on here. Oh, and I also centered this t-shirt. I do have a video down below, and I think most of my newer videos have a link to my centering or folding the tee in half video, and that's where I'm basically tucking one side of the shirt into the other, so that gives me the front of the tee and the back of the tee separate, and I have the middle of the front. So if you're doing a symmetrical design, that's what you want, is the middle. Anyways, here we go. Now, the next thing that I do when folding this, of course we're going to get that back part of the t-shirt out. I'm folding this on just the front. I'll probably do a heart on the back of this. So, anyways, what I'm going to do in folding this up is I'm going to fold these two lines, but this line here is going to be folded with that one. So just like in my regular ribbon video that I have, and I'll put a link to that one in where I start with a white t-shirt. But basically I fold this part in half right there, and it's a little harder to do on the black because you can't just see through the fabric like you can on the white, but I can kind of lay that up and match until I can see the crayon is getting ready to touch itself right there, and I can lay that down, and then it's a matter of drawing that line back on there. So right to about there. So there's my fold line, and then I'm going straight up from the curve up to that corner. Okay, so you see what I did there is I just doubled that over, so I drew this here on the back side. And that way I can now just do one straight fold, and then of course I'm going to tie this with sinew because we're doing a discharge, and then I'll tie this one. So let's just get right into that. Messing up my display here. Snoopy, you're supposed to be watching over that. Alright. Yeah, we're going to work this way. I think on the other video I went from the top down, but I think I'm going to do that in reverse this time, just to try something different. So basically I folded that first little part in half, and now I'm right here at the bottom of this corner, so now I'm just going to fold this line over at a 90 degree, or yeah, over that 45 degree angle to line that up, and now I can pick this up, and I'm folding straight along now that line. So just making that little transition there, doing that weird fold. And then as I'm going here, since I have two layers, I'm making sure that I'm holding on to both of those layers as I pick this up. and match this up. And really all I'm doing is matching this line up with this line here on the that's laying down flat, and then I lay that back down. And then we're going to do the same thing. I just ended this run going on the downward side here, so I'm going to flop this line here up and around this way. And you just have to kind of twist the fabric and make it work. It's not going to just line up perfectly there. You do have to kind of do a little bit of a twist in the fabric, a little bit of a kind of a weird pleat there, but fabric is very pliable, so just twist it how you need it. So I just got done tying that, or folding that, so now I'm going to tie this up with sinew. Tie it very tightly so that we can stop the black from coming out right here. So I wrap it around a few times, and then I hold it and kind of pull it tight so I can kind of see that lock in there. And then I wrap around a few more times and pull it tight. I want to make sure I get a nice outline around there, because I'm going to be removing all of the color from the shirt except for where this ribbon is, and then I'll probably tie a heart on the back. So now I'll fold this little line here. This is the center, the hole of the ribbon. Okay, I just put a kettle on the boil. So now let's get the rest of this shirt tied up. Like I say, I got the center of the back here because I had centered the whole t-shirt. So this is the center of the back. And I'm going to come down, yeah, not that far. We're going to put a heart on here. So I'm going to use the same dry erase crayon here. We're just doing just the big one. Both of my sleeves folded in together because that's part of the process when you're doing the centering, is I tuck one sleeve into the other. So I got both of them in there. So I'm going to, just for fun, since I'm doing a discharge, I'm just going to kind of do just a funky little zigzaggy pattern on the sleeve just for fun. Just to kind of add a little bit more detail in there. So this one I'm just kind of free-handing. Like I say, we got a ribbon on the front, heart on the back. We did just a kind of a straight across the bottom, and we did a little wavy thing on the sleeves. So now I'm going to discharge the whole thing without White Bright. So this stuff right here, I like it better than bleach, because bleach you need to neutralize, and this you can just rinse it really well or wash it and then you're ready to dye. Plus for me it seems like it removes more color, so we're going to use that. So let me get the rest of the way set up and we'll get that process going. Okay, the next thing I do is I just kind of lay this as flat as I can in the basin. I mean, if I'm going to remove all of the color, then I just kind of flatten it all out down in there the best that I can. And then I also work in front of an open window or outside, because this here does have a fine powder, so I try to get this down low and make sure that I don't let too much of that powder fly around or breathe it. but you can also wear a mask when you're putting this on, but working outside is one of the best things you can do. But since we're doing a video, I'm working inside. And I just sprinkle this around on top of this, or I'll sprinkle it down in the bottom of the basin underneath. And then I have a kettle of freshly boiled water here, and I just slowly pour it right over the top of that. And it fizzes up a lot, and you can see the color just coming right out as soon as the water bubbles disappear out of there. So the color removal process is very quick with this, or at least the start of it, and then you let it soak for a bit. Usually you'll flip it over and add more out white bright to the darker areas if needed, but basically once I get it in the solution, I gotta find my tongs. But I just kind of move it around in the basin here, tucking the darker areas down underneath and flipping it over when needed, and the color just falls right out. So we're gonna let that sit for just a couple minutes. Okay, like I say, I usually stir it around. I usually have a pair of tongs. Okay, after it's sat for as long as you want it to, gotten all the color out that you want, like I say, it just gets lighter and lighter, but I don't know that I've ever seen it get much lighter than that, so I think that's going to be good. I usually would just pour this in the sink and start rinsing it in cold water here. I usually go ahead and slosh it around a little bit, get that all out of there the best I can, and then I'll let that sit and soak. Although this one here, I'm going to open it all the way up before I dye it. A lot of times I'm doing these, and before I untie it, I add dye back into it. But this one, I'm going to incorporate the spider design. So I'm going to open this one up, so I guess I don't need to let it sit for as long. But normally what I would do is fill this bucket up and let this sit and rest for a while. And more of this, you'll see the water change color even more in here as more of this stuff leaches out. And one way to help speed that up is you can put this in your washing machine and spin out the excess liquid, and then put it back in a bucket and soak it for longer, and then spin it out again, and you'll get rid of all of those excess chemicals quicker that way. And then when you're done spinning it out, then you can let it sit and dry and dye it, or however your process is. But for me, on this one, we're going to open this thing up right now. Sometimes I get ahead of myself and I forget what I'm doing. So we're just going to go right into this. This was the heart on the back. Yeah. And this was the ribbon. There's the ribbon. And there's the heart. So now I'm going to do an even better rinse on this, spin it out, and then I'm going to tie this back up and we're going to dye it. So stay tuned. Okay, here's the tee. So we got the thing on the bottom, the sleeves, the ribbon on the front, and the heart on the back. So I'm going to now incorporate the spider design in, and the way I like to do the spider is I tuck one sleeve into the other sleeve. So I just take this one, I'm tucking it through the body here, and into the other sleeve. And I do have a video on just this, but I thought, what the heck, I'll just show it again right here. Line these up together. So really just this bottom seam here, I'm just lining that up on both of the sleeves. Grabbing this other sleeve here, and I'm just lining those up nice and even. Because the more even you get those up, if the t-shirt itself is symmetrical, then this will line it up nice and perfect. And if it's not, then this will show you that the t-shirt is lopsided, or the sleeves are off, or something. I don't know. Anyways, I do that. The next thing I do is get this shoulder seam here. I can feel inside the shoulder seam is over here. So I'm going to reach inside this sleeve, and I'm just going to grab those two shoulder seams, set them together, and then pinch that t-shirt and move it over, and then do the same thing in here. So I can just lift this up, lay those two together right there, and shake that out. Now I can feel they're on top of each other. Sift that out, toss it down, and then usually I can pick up the front, and that is pretty close to exactly right where we had it last time. Shake that out, lay it down, and there is the heart also now right in half. So now we have both of our designs on the front and the back. So now what we're going to do is twist the spider, and for the spider I like to have the front of the T facing down. So since I put the ribbon on the front, I'm going to put that down, and then I'm going to pinch right across from the armpit, which puts me right here at the top part of the heart. So maybe I will just go down just a little bit to be right in the center of the heart. Oh, and that also puts me right here in the ribbon. So I can kind of split the difference on those two. And then I'm just going to pinch, and I am twisting so that I'm going towards the bottom of the t-shirt. If you twist going up towards the top, it's just going to take the spider design and turn it the other direction. So I suggest you try both ways and see which way you like the best. I like it going this direction, so I always pinch and roll so that I'm slowly working my way to the bottom of the T. And the more that you work with all of these legs, that's where your spider design comes in, is the tops of all of those creases. So I try to make sure that as I'm wrapping this up, I am layering all of those pleats nice and even so they all get coated with dye. And then I just keep wrapping that all the way up and do the same thing. Get all these plates lined up, because these are going to be all the legs that are coming down your shirt. So just line all of those pleats up, and if you need to, sometimes I'll add extra pleats in because there's extra fabric there. And once you get that lined up, then I just kind of wrap the sleeve up however it will go. The sleeve is just awkward, so you just roll it up however it works. Okay, now we're going to put some kite string on this. You could put rubber bands on it, or whatever your preferred method of tying is. Mine just happens to be kite string. So once we get this all tied up, then I'm going to dye it in 2 shades of pink, because like I say, we wanted to do the breast cancer ribbon and incorporate the spider design. So both of those will be in it, but the shirt is going to be mostly pink, even though the outline of the ribbon will be in black. I think it's going to be fine. I think that's just going to make it stand out on the tee. And I guess you could use a different color t-shirt and do the same process here. I just happen to have black on hand, so I went with black. Also, the fact that the black is going to show through the fuchsia that I'm going to use. I'm going to use a light pink, which is really just a watered down fuchsia, and fuchsia to do my spider here. So, and this here is just a freshly rinsed tee. I did not soak it in soda ash. So after we're all done, then I have my soda ash, and I'm just going to squirt that right over top. And then we're going to batch this for 48 hours. Okay, let's get moving. Alright, let me get some gloves on and we'll get back and put some dye on this thing. Okay, we're back. Like I say, I got 2 shades of pink. I just have my fuchsia mixed up, and then I put just a little bit of fuchsia in the bottom of this and filled it up the rest of the way with water. And that gives me a lighter pink color here. And when I do the spider, I've done it lots of different ways. You can dye just one side one color, flip it over, dye the other side the other color. But I just want to make sure that I get a really nicely saturated pink t-shirt for this, so I'm going to dye both sides with the light pink and both sides with the fuchsia, and that should give me a nice spider on the front and the back. Now, just because I want to speed this along, a lot of times I would let this sit and soak in for a while, but I don't have time to let it sit and soak in because I want to be done with this video in time to watch a show that's coming on at 5:30 tonight. So sometimes just pressing will help push that dye further in, and you can even take a little peek. I can see just a little bit of a line inside there, which that's not going to be bad at all, because when I add the other color on, the darker fuchsia, and then I turn around and squirt it with the soda ash, that should finish saturating it. So I'm ready for that next step. So I did both sides in the light pink. Now I'm going to do both sides in the dark pink. There's the fuchsia. I'm going to peek inside just to see. Yeah, see that light pink is taken over inside there. So now I'm going to take the soda ash and I just give it a good coat over top. And flip it and do a good coat on the other side. And then we're going to put that aside to batch for 48 hours. So I'll be back with the results. You'll see in about 2 seconds. Thank you for watching and happy Easter. Good morning and welcome to Hippie Christmas with Mr. Tie-Dye. So it's been a couple days since we did this ribbon tee with a spider design added to it. I also did a heart on the back of this. So let's open it up and see what we get here. So yeah, there's my spider design in there. It's still just a little bit of the white or the tan that was left over from the discharging, but overall I think that looks fantastic with that pink in there. So I think we're going to call that good. There's the heart on the back. So I'll have this ready in a couple seconds.